This is how you are going to get your prospects to beg you to take their money at the end of your sales calls. My name is Mike Antiles. I have been a high-ticket closer for the past 2.5 years. Over the course of the past 2.5 years, I have closed over $5 million in sales, and this YouTube channel is dedicated to showing you exactly how I've done so that you can do the same, start making $20, $30, $40 plus $1,000 a month in commissions. All right, this is specifically for high-ticket closers or for business owners that are closing their own offer. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. How are you going to get your prospects to beg for you to take their money? It is through finding the right problem, finding their pain, finding their problem, and probing on it properly, right? Because the whole point in a sales call is to create as big a gap as possible from where they are right now compared to where they want to be, right? And if you can take their current state and just lower it and help them feel the pain of how bad it is, how bad their current situation really is, then it is going to be really easy to close the sale at the end of the call. All right, so how we're going to do it. So you're going to start off your call, right, just regular conversation. You figure out their situation a little bit, and then we want to figure out what their pain, what their problem is. All right, now I'm going to give you a few different lines right here to use. Now, I don't want you to, I'm not giving in-depth scripting too much because the main idea here is that I want you to understand the ideas behind it. If you're just memorizing a script, that's not going to get you very far. You have to understand what you're saying and why you're saying it. All right, so I'm going to give you 3 ways to open up to find out the problem. All right, one of them right here is, well, what is it that's coming up for you more recently that has you feeling like, you know what, it's time to lose weight? Or your current income just isn't quite enough, right? Really depending on what you're selling. Or I need access to more zero-interest capital. Whatever it may be, that's the question. All right, there are some people that teach to just say, well, what brings you on the call today? Right, and that is way too general. They might start talking about nothing for 5 minutes, and you don't want that. I want to cut right to the point. What is it that's coming up for you more recently that has you feeling like you need to lose weight? Your current income isn't enough. You need to make more money, whatever it may be. Right, whatever problem it is that you solve, you want to cut right to the point. Another way of phrasing it is, what was it that shifted for you more recently that made you feel like it's time for a change? Now, don't say it's time for a change, right? you gotta personalize this. Another way of saying it, was there some kind of line in the sand moment that made you decide that it's time to make a change here? Right, and the reason I give you 3 of them, I have had sales calls where I've only used one of them, and I have had sales calls where I have used all 3 of these and even a few more variations of it. Why? Because sometimes you have to ask a few times. Sometimes the first time doesn't hit properly. It gives you a little bit of information, and then you ask again using different words, and you get exactly what you were looking for. Then whatever they tell you, they tell you the reason they want to change is, whether it's I'm living paycheck to paycheck, or my jeans just don't fit on me the way that they used to. My wife is no longer attracted to me. What you always want to do is attach a time frame to it. How long has that been going on for? How long has that been the case for? Right? And you can ask this in a few different ways. That's just 2 of them. The reason that you want to attach a time frame to it is because when they right now they just told you they have a problem. But now that they say it out loud, it's been going on for 2 months, 6 months, a year, 3 years, they're going to realize, wow, this has been going on for so long, and I haven't taken action on fixing it. And when they say it out loud, I haven't taken action for 6 years, for 6 months, for 1 year, for 6 years, right? Then they'll realize, wow, it's been going on for a long time to take action, right? And then once you have more details about what's really going on, what their problem is, then you're going to probe. Probing is really where the magic is, right? You want them to get to talk about in detail about their pain or their problem, and we do that through probing statements or probing questions. In what way? Has that put you in a tough position? How so? When you say blank, what do you mean specifically? Right? When you say, I'm living paycheck to paycheck, what do you mean specifically? And then they'll tell you like specific times when they really felt they didn't have enough money in the bank account and they just feel like they're running on a wheel. What do you mean specifically? How does that make you feel? Now, how does that make you feel? That's if you don't have the right rapport with someone, this could push them the wrong direction. But if you do have good rapport with them and you ask them, when you put on your pants in the morning, it just doesn't fit. Like when you can't close the button anymore, like, how does that make you feel? And you can get a really strong feeling right there, and that's really going to create a ton of urgency for them to change. All right, these right here are just 6 probing questions, but there's a ton more, right? At the end of the day, just be a human being and speak the way that you speak, right? Ask them for more detail. And using these ones specifically is fantastic, but just be a human being, right? If you were talking to your friend, how would you ask them for more detail, right? And you can do it that way. It's going to come off much more natural, and really the best closers in the world, that's what they do. They don't sound salesy. They don't sound like they're reading off a script. They're themselves. Their questions are very intentional, but you have to be yourself. All right? So what we did right here is we have figured out their first problem, and we have asked them to go into detail on their first problem. Now, once we have one problem, if we really want the prospect to beg us to take their money into the call, we're going to have to figure out another problem. All right? There's a few different ways of finding out the other problem. I always take the approach of I'm going to find out another problem, and I'm also going to pre-handle an objection that I could get at the end of the call. Right? So an objection that I always want to pre-handle, not every single time, but it's very common that I do want to pre-handle it, is I don't want people telling me I'm just going to try to figure out how to do this on my own. Right? So I'll say to them, and just so I understand, some people will just take the approach of, you know what, I'm just going to try to wing it and figure out how to do this on my own. How come you would really want professional help here from someone like me? Right? And then they'll tell you why they don't want to do it on their own and why they want professional help from someone like you. Right? They are pre-handling their own objection, and you're also creating a problem. Right? Not being able to do it on their own, that's a problem for them. All right? And something important here, you want to make doing it on your own sound foolish. That's why I throw in wing it. Right? You want to make... If they answer trying to do it on their own, you want to make them sound like a complete fool doing that. And when you do that, there's no chance that they'll give you the wrong answer right there. Right, but that's what I use specifically. But just so you understand, this is the basic framework for it. Right? You say, and just so I understand, some people will take the approach of insert common objection. In this case, it was try to do it on their own. Why is it that you insert rebuttal to objection? Right? Why is it that you will not do it that way? And again, when you insert the common objection, make it sound foolish. You don't want them to say, oh, you know what, you're right, I might just do it that way. All right, so now we're going to figure out another problem. If you can, do some probing right here. Sometimes there won't be that much to probe, so use your common sense right there. Then, once we have 2 problems, we're going to ask them, what else have they done in the past to solve this problem? What else have they done to solve this problem? Why? Because we want to know what they have tried, what worked, what didn't work, so that we can pitch them properly. Now, a lot of times, the answer you're gonna get here is, I haven't done anything, or I just watched free YouTube videos, or I just tried to eat protein bars and less cookies, right? But I actually never got guidance, right? And those pretty much all mean I didn't try anything. And when they say they didn't try anything, you say, why not? Why didn't you try it? You have this big problem. You have 2 big problems. Why have you never tried to fix the problem? Why not? And then they'll tell you, because I was lazy. So what finally made you draw the line in the sand now and decide that you don't want to wait another 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 years? Right now, if you already used the term draw the line in the sand, don't use it again. Right? Find a different way of saying it. Right? But what you're doing right here is you are creating a ton of urgency for them to change their problem. Yes, it's important for you to know the answer to this, but it's more important for them to say the answer out loud. Right? When we talk about persuasion, the most effective form of persuasion is not you telling them that they have to make a change, it's them telling themselves that they have to make a change. All right? So over here, when they tell themselves why they have to do this right now and not 2 days, 2 months, or 2 years, they will understand how badly they have to make a change. And when they really have that deep understanding of how important it is for them to change, it's going to be very, very easy to close the deal. All right? That's the bulk of it right here. Again, the most important thing here is that you understand the reason behind what we're talking about. Right? Don't just go ahead and memorize exactly what to say. I want you to take all these probing questions and put them in your toolkit. Right? And then you know you have them in the back of your mind, and when saying how so is appropriate, you will say it. When you know that saying, has that put you in a tough position, when you know that's right, you will pull it out and say it, right? But use your brain. You be a human being when you're asking these questions. Don't come off as a scripted salesperson. All right, so I hope you liked this video. If you liked this video and you're interested in working with me one-on-one, you can go ahead and book a call with me in the link in the description of this video. Just to clarify, I don't have a course that I sell. I just work with people one-on-one to help them scale their income. Really, I get it done within 30 days. All right, so if you're interested in more details on that, go ahead and book a call with me in the link in the description of this video. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the comment button, and I will see you in the next one.